Elen, Scylla, Lumen, Omen Tielvo. Today, I will break down the Siege of Minas Tirith. On the side of Gondor, there were roughly 4,000 defenders, led by Denethor, Faramir, Imrahil, and Gandalf the White. On Sauron's side, there was a massive host of orcs and men, led by the Witch King of Angmar and his lieutenant, Gothmog. After the defeat of Gondorian forces in the Second Battle of Osgiliath, Faramir removed his troops to the Ramas Acor. The Witch King sent his armies forward to breach the wall. Many orcs and evil men would fall by the swords and arrows of the Gondorians, but it was not enough, and soon fire breached the walls, and much of the Ramas Acor fell into ruin. Faramir and his men would retreat across the Pelennor, and desperate fighting broke out, but the Gondorians held the line. Their love and loyalty to their captain gave the men strength, but terror descended upon the men as the Nazgul took flight on their fell beasts. In that moment of despair, riders issued forth from the gates. The knights of Dol Amroth were they, following their lord, Prince Imrahil, and Gandalf rode amongst them, shining light from his hand, sending the Nazgul back. The Gondorians jumped upon their enemy, sending a great many fleeing from the field, but soon orders came from Denethor to return to the city. Imrahil would carry an injured Faramir, who was afflicted with the Black Breath during the retreat. The siege would now begin proper. The orcs quickly began digging trenches and building great siege weapons. Once these devices were completed, projectiles were flung over the great wall of Minas Tirith, and flame burst forth, engulfing the first floor of the city. Despair crept upon the Gondorians as the orcs cruelly catapulted the severed heads of their fallen compatriots. The Nazgul once more took flight and terrorized the defenders. The only hope that filled these men's hearts came when Gandalf walked by, encouraging the soldiers, and Prince Imrahil, of whom it is said elven blood ran through his veins. But when these leaders passed, courage melted away, and the soldiers cowered. Denethor, upon seeing his last surviving son gravely wounded, despaired and forsook the defenses, leaving Gandalf in charge. Morale fell within the city. Fires burned uncontrolled in the first level, and the enemy's great siege towers began to move towards the city walls. Orcs now climbed up the walls, fighting the men of Gondor, who yet stood their ground. As the fighting occurred, the great battering ram Grond rolled to the gate, and the Witch King put spells of dark magic upon it, and with 3 swings the gate of Minas Tirith broke. In rode the Witch King, and all fled before his terror, save Gandalf, who rode upon Shadowfax. Quote, "You cannot enter here. Go back to the abyss prepared for you. Go back. Fall into the nothingness that awaits you and your master. Go!"
Old fool, this is my hour. Do you not know death when you see it? Die now and curse in vain.
End quote. The Witch King drew his sword, but before he could attack Gandalf, horns sounded from afar. The riders of Rohan had come at last, and the Witch King departed to deal with this new threat. And so the siege of Gondor ended, and the Battle of the Pelennor Fields began. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, feel free to like and subscribe for more content, and please let me know how I can better improve these videos. Thanks, and as the elves say, Namarie.